I think one time I like opened up like your podcast and I was like scrolling through and there was just like controversy on like, would a man want to be with someone that does sex work? And I was just like, what kind of question is that? Because everybody's so different. Like, why does that one factor matter? I feel like someone's job, it's like, why would a woman that's young like me want to marry a guy that works a 9-to-5 office job? To me that seems kind of boring. You know, like, why not a sexy fireman? I mean, like, everybody has a different
Why would it be boring
preference.
to marry a guy who works a 9-to-5? Isn't that a perfectly respectful career path?
To me, it's just boring.
So the same objection you have to wanting to date a man who's a blue-collar worker, for example, who works 9-to-5, why can't men have the exact same objection to dating a woman who f***s other people on camera?
No. Well, I'm just saying, I don't like the talk, like, if the question was like, why would a man want to date a sex worker? It's like, well, you could ask that question about anything. Like, why would you want to date someone from Walmart? Why would you want to date someone who works at a pet store? But everybody's different, you know? So that topic was like irritating for me because I was like,
why is it irritating to you?
Because it just doesn't, in my like, with the work that I've done, like, I've had 2 people propose to me already and I've said no, and I do sex work and they didn't see me any differently based on that.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of the conversations we've had on this show, honestly, I kind of don't really care when it comes to if women do sex work like, I don't really care. But my prescriptive advice that I give to men is dating a woman who is involved in sex work or was involved in sex work is a suboptimal dating choice. So maybe that's your objection there. Men and women can have any preferences, standards, and boundaries that they want. But I mean, let me ask you a question. Can you try to argue my position for me? So argue, why would somebody not want to date a sex worker? Like, can you think of any reasons?
Maybe someone that's...
You about to say insecure? It sounded like you were about to say insecure there. No, I'm not asking what's wrong with that person. I'm saying what would be some reasons why somebody would not, like, negative consequences of dating someone who's involved in sex work.
Maybe someone that has a business, they don't want the idea of their partner to like ruin their reputation.
Sure. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
Someone that doesn't want to share their person with somebody else, with anybody else.
Okay, anything else?
Valid.
Oh, it's valid?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making my argument for me.
It's valid.
Oh,
I just
so
don't like.
it's valid.
I just don't like that it's like a common topic. That's just was irritating to me. Like, why is it always like, why would a man want to be with a sex worker?
Well,
it's like
here, look. Just to be charitable, women who do sex work invariably will probably. There's a bit of a cope when it comes to this conversation. I think if a woman's involved in sex work, she'll probably find a guy. Like, this whole cope of like she's gonna be a cat lady and never find a man. It's cope, especially if she's, attractive and not a total piece of shit. She'll probably find a guy. However, I will say, and in terms of prescriptive advice to men that I give, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend men date sex workers. I think it's a suboptimal dating choice. And sometimes you're not always going to get the most optimum partner in your life, but it is significantly suboptimal for various reasons. And I think the other thing is, just slipped my mind. But anyways, yeah.
Can I ask you please, what are your reasons for why it's suboptimal? Like, why would you?
Sure.
Yeah, like she gave some reasons. No.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I'll give you a couple. So first off, for example, women who do OnlyFans, and I actually try not to bring this topic up just to be, I suppose, courteous to the women if we do have girls on the show, just not to throw your hustle totally under the bus. But y'all become very well practiced in deception and manipulation and lying.
Yep.
Here's why. Because most of you sell the girlfriend experience, and you basically commit, in my estimation, you commit fraud by saying, I'm talking to you. I'm not saying all girls do this, but most of them do. The bigger they are, the more likely they are to have, for example, a typer or to have a chatter. But you're advertising yourself as saying, I'm talking to you. So you become very well versed in fraud and lying. And you have no issue with it whatsoever. So you become accustomed and adjusted to making small lies, and small lies become big lies. So that's one of my issues that I have with it.
So
most of the workers are incredibly attuned to manipulation and lying.
Can I defend just my personal experience?
Actually, don't we have a tweet related? Some girl had a tweet about this. Hold on, let me see if I don't know. Oh man, I don't know if we only have one tweet, right, Nick? Yeah. Oh man, I could have sworn that. I'm gonna double check, but do you guys acknowledge that girls who fans have typers?
Yes, many of them.
Many of them, yeah.
Many of them do. That's the ones that are like online 24/7.
What do they even put in their bio? You can talk to me, right?
Yeah, I don't like that. That's
You're
a practice.
lying.
I'm very
It's
against,
fraud. It's literally
personally,
fraud.
I'm very against having management companies and all that stuff.
Sure. So that's one of my justifications for it. In addition to that, OnlyFans girls will typically hide the fact that they're in a relationship. So you just become very well versed and practiced in your deception and manipulation, because if you were honest about the fact that you're dating a guy or you're married or you have a relationship, it would hurt your bottom line. Secondly, when it comes to the typing and chatting thing, if you were telling the guys, by the way, it's some dude in Bangladesh who's getting paid $5 a day to be sexting with you, and you're sexting with the dude, it would hurt your bottom line. So you're doing this sort of fraudulent misrepresentation. On that level, I object to it. In addition, in terms of the actual content that you're making, and I actually think the fraudulent misrepresentation is worse than the fact that there's nude photos of you floating around the internet.
Same. We agree on that.
So, for
What
example,
about people in sales?
Huh?
What about people in sales? What do you think about them?
If they're making fraudulent claims and they're enticing people, it's called fraudulent inducement into fraudulent misrepresent. I can't remember the specific legal term, but it could open someone up to civil liability if they lie about their product.
True, but people in sales, I feel like, do it all the time.
Well, so there's a sales principle called puffery.
Like leaving things out of the.
Well,
of
I
the
mean,
equation.
it depends.
Is
what
that technically considered
object.
lying or fraud if something is intentionally left out?
Can I interject?
When making a sale?
Can I interject? Because here's the thing. I used to work for Jenny Craig for 3.5 years as a program director. I'm not selling lies. I'm selling hope and like the fascination that they're going to be able to lose weight, right? You are instilling hope and faith in these men that they have a shot with you. So I think that's part of what Brian is saying too, is sort of like you guys are you painting this fantasy like, oh baby, I only want you. I'm only thinking of you. You're gaslighting them.
But I think everybody's
almost all men do to women so that they can get into their pants.
That's
on
90%
a regular
of
basis.
OnlyFans.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if I can acknowledge that that's wrong, can you acknowledge that women doing it is also wrong?
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Okay.
But I just think
Exactly.
that the standard should be the same for men when it comes to their interactions with women, because they will also act like, oh, I want to be with you, when they really just want to sleep with somebody.
But they're not
But
getting paid for it.
Don't the men already have this understanding?
We know
that
somebody
they're
that gets
not-
paid for it. We know some men that get paid for it. Yeah.